as we are recording this, is August 1st,
Hello, August.
2020. I can't believe it's August 1st, 2020, 2022. I cannot believe it's August 1st, 2022.
Cup of sunshine. Very sweet.
My mother gave it to me. It's the opposite of you. Just kidding.
Well, and it matches your lovely yellow top, right?
My blouse.
So you're in style right now.
I like yellow during the summer. I'm like, and it looks good on my skin color. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love yellow. My guest bedroom is yellow and white because I just love the color yellow.
I add more yellow to my bathroom. I switch out some of the colors. There's like two colors that stay, and then fall, winter, it's one color. Spring, summer, it's another color.
Oh, look at you. Wow.
I know, fancy schmancy.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Yes.
How was your weekend?
Oh
my goodness.
There are
You okay?
I almost said I'm so comfortable with you that I'm like we're actually recording. So I almost said something that I was like, oh no, that's for off camera.
Yeah.
So
now I want to know. Our whole podcast, I'm going to be thinking, what does he really want?
Well, I'm going to allude to it during a podcast. Because that's funny you asked that. Because oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Oh my god, I lost my train of thought. It's so funny. I'm going to sip of coffee.
You were really flustered, which that doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. It's been that kind of weekend and end of month.
End of month.
And then it's like I have been.
So funny. What is Melissa McCarthy's new show out on Netflix?
Oh, she has a new show out? There's so many
yes.
shows out there.
Her and her husband, and they were in a restaurant, and it was a Spanish-speaking restaurant. She kept going like Belinda to try and make a living. And I laughed out loud. She did it so well. It was so funny.
Well, she's hilarious. So there's so many shows on television. Let me start it. Or streaming, I should say. Well, that's television.
God's Favorite Idiot, I think, or something like that is her new show.
That sounds kind of familiar. Okay, that sounds kind of familiar. Okay. Yeah, I love her. She's hilarious. And she's Jenny McCarthy's cousin. They're first cousins.
Yeah.
That's so funny. She said she came out to California and stayed with Jenny and helped her. I'm like, that's so funny. They're actually like really cousins.
Mm-hmm.
July has been a very interesting month. As we say in Spanish, interesante. Try to tie in the whole thing. No. And this weekend, some stuff came to a head. So, but in an interesting way that it's. I'm sorry, folks. I just don't want to talk about it yet to the public. It'll be public knowledge at some point. But I'm like, I'll let you guys know what's going on when it happens. And by the time this airs, it might already be out already. But it's lessons in business. Oh. That's the theme for July. That I learned a lot. I mean, I'm 53 years old. And you always say, can I learn anything new? I learned some stuff. I learned some new shit. I did. Excuse my language. I did learn some new shit this last month. And it's wonderful. I mean, in the long run, it is a wonderful thought that I can still learn stuff. That things can happen and I can react to them differently than I would have before. It's also that lesson.
Is that the more mature James?
A more mature James, but also a more insightful James.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm saying for you, I'm sure too. Because don't you know stuff now? You're like, okay, now I can read people a little better, or I kind of know how to read the room a little better, so to speak. Right? Like I know if this happens, I kind of have the tools now to handle it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of. I feel like that's.
Okay.
That's helped a lot. Also, I know my worth.
I
didn't always know my worth.
Well, there is the secret recipe, isn't it? Because self-worth is something that we are not all born with. And it's not something that's taught or always nurtured in the household.
Right.
And it can just be shattered by one person in your life who you make more important than you. And all of a sudden, your self-worth is out the window. So I love that. I love that that statement that you just made, because above all else, self-worth is truly important.
Yeah.
You know, you have to take care of yourself. And I'm not talking about people who are like arrogant or like way overvalued. You know, but just self-worth and taking care of yourself and knowing, you know, what you're what you want out of something. Like so many of us are, well, some of us are givers, some of us are takers, right?
That's true.
So
that's very true. Very true.
The giving community, we way too late in the day start thinking about what is important to us or what we might want out of a transaction or a relationship, something like that. So self-worth.
Very true. And I think, and as and a giver looks at situations through a different lens than a taker.
Sure.
In a sense that you're always you're always trying to find the nice spot or the good spot or the safe spot, or you're always trying to find, you want to give, or you want to help a situation stay a certain way. Sometimes we're afraid of change. So you try to find where can I go to keep it so it stays the same? Nothing happens. We're all happy and fine. It's like there's things that we patterns we fall back on. They're just natural patterns because we're givers or people pleasers or whatever words you want to use. So you view a situation very differently. And then when you kind of wake up, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I should look at it this way. I'm like, oh, okay, now I got it. Now I see where I can look at it a different way. And I think I'm a giver in many ways. I know I am. So especially if I like something and I'm totally into it, I go 1,000% into something. I'm just like that. Or I start a new venture, I'm just like all in. That's just what I do. And too many times for my success. But it's also knowing flaws, mistakes. Like they can happen, just mistakes can happen. Life happens and some shit
does.
No. It does, girl. It does. Dues. It does dues. It does dues.
It does dues.
Does dues. It's just like this. You have to make allowances for it. Just go, well, sometimes, I dropped the ball on this. Okay, and beating yourself up so hard.
Yes,
knowledge. That's a hard thing too, girl. It's because I'm like,
that's a whole other show though, because that one I can fill an hour worth of fun anecdote, and I am in that process of learning not to be that person.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm very hard on myself.
Yeah. And
where I am forgiving in a lot of ways in my life, I forgot myself. Like, that whole I'm human too thing. Yes. So yeah, I've gotten better. Actually, I would say that was kind of my mission last year.
Oh, okay.
Was to accept the simple fact that you're human. Mm-hmm. You'll make mistakes. Just do your best at that point to try and make it right, whatever it is, right? Yeah, God only knows what kind of trouble I'm going to get into, but, just try and do the right thing at that moment. So I got a funny story for you later, coming back around to when you try and hide something that you've done instead of just.
Funny.
Yeah. So.
Yes, but for me, it's, I should have known better. That's my famous line to myself.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know everything. And like I said, maybe you overextend yourself that time period. You miss something, you skip something. So you have to figure it out. It happened. It just happens. We're overachievers. I'm an overachiever. I fully admit it. I stand in it. I try to fight it for years. Don't call me that. I'm not. I am. I love achieving stuff. I've always been that way. I love setting goals. Mm-hmm. And not only making them, but going way over them. I enjoy it. And I accepted that stuff for myself. I finally accepted that last couple of years. I'm like, that's just, I was like, since you were out the womb, you were like this. Like, so you can't really run away from who you are. You just can't. No. You could try, and try to give different names to it, but you can't.
Yeah, no. And the thing for me is the achieving part. I have a self-defeat mechanism in myself where I've worked very hard to quiet that voice, because it can stop you from achieving goals, and it can stop you from even joining in. And so I have worked on that since, early 20, way back in life. And I identify with that. And sometimes, I don't hear it a lot anymore, obviously, because I've worked very hard to get through it, but it's still there. Like, you can't shed those little voices, that there are triggers, right? So I don't know what situation I might be in. But if I'm sensing like, oh, it's not quite going my way, it's easier to just go, well, is it really that important? And start going down that road, as opposed to, no, let's figure this out.
Right.
So I'm more of a figure it out girl now than I used to be. But it was a challenge to get there.
Yeah, I did. I used to do the just cut out. I don't screw you and cut out, and that's it. And it's,
well, I love the screw you part. Well, sometimes I didn't. I was half and half.
You have half. Yeah, I was. I
would sometimes graciously bow out, and sometimes I'd be all up in your face, like, really, no.
I'm a Taurus. I'm big mouth. I wasn't gracious when I was young. I was not gracious. I was loud, and then I went out.
Yeah. Well, you're the mic drop.
Yes, that's me. Yeah. I have a forked tongue. I know how to say some stuff, and then I'm done. But I did learn from working for the association, my time when I was leaving, how to handle that exit. And I ended up leaving on good terms with the association, obviously. I know on good terms. Not with certain people within it, but I did for the bigger part. I left on good terms, good reputation, all that stuff. Because I did start putting into practice, figuring things out, accepting what's good for me, what's not good for me, expressing that does not work for me, or expressing, no, I'm not accepting that.
Right.
And that was hard for me to do at first. That was a long way to get there, to go. Sure. But expressing it before I just go, you're a bitch. Okay, I'm done. Okay, let's send the letter out and bye-bye. But no, I was like, well, no, they need to know what I'm feeling. If they ask me, explain, James, I should explain. If they ask me that, they're willing to have a conversation with me, that I should give them that courtesy. And then at least everybody knows, and you never know, sometimes things can work out. I didn't know that, or I had no idea. Right. Not everybody's mind readers. You have to stop that.
You've got it going on today.
Because you started it, that's why. Like with the meritocracy. The TH, like Barcelona.
Yes.
I think my mother said the Lisp, which went to Barcelona.
Yes.
But it's one, and that's when it kind of, it was my late 30s, or our late 30s. That's when it started. I started going, okay, I got to react to situations a little differently, because you just never know. And now I'm in Hollywood. It's very, you always want to be careful who you tell off and who you don't. Because it's a small world. Well, it's certainly a small world too. It's all these little small pockets of worlds. I was like, so it was more like, okay, how can I honor myself and still walk away, or whatever the situation I need to walk away from, but not, and stand on my truth. So if I ruffle some feathers, I ruffle some feathers, but not to the point of like, you're all bitches. It's like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that it's directed in the right way, right? Right. To the right people in the right way. So if I say to people, I talked to them, I tried my best, we talked it out, we did everything we're supposed to do, then I can actually walk away feeling good, going, well, I tried, I did. I said that, what if? Well, what if I had said this? What if I had done this? The shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Yes.
I hate
those. And those normally happen for me in the car for some reason while I was driving around town. I don't know why.
You're driving the big lots. You're like, dang, I should have said that.
I am very reflective in the car.
Well, when you're in the moment, a lot of times it's very heightened. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of emotions or facts you're trying to remember all at the same time, and you're in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This last month, I had chosen to trim the fat on a big portion of my business, my organizing business.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end of June. So I implemented that this month.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And so even though I've been in this business for 13 years, I'm actually learning a new set of what that means. And what does that mean in terms of money, time allocation? So I have merchandising products. I'm in the clothing business. I have merchandising products. I have a subscription service. I added things this month that I never thought I would do. So there's some also being scared a little bit. It's something new. I never asked for money. And so I did. And so I got a couple of ventures going. But then as I was doing all this and still doing the quality of work, still making connections, some other great things came my direction this last month. So it's kind of like, good job, James, for being true to yourself. Just saying, I don't want to physically organize all the time anymore. I've kept just a couple of clients, just a couple. I don't want to do 10 clients a week anymore. I'm 53 years old. I'm tired, out of shape. I'm done. And that's real and honest. I don't want to do it anymore. But having a couple of clients, that's kind of, and the one I can select who I want.
Yeah.
And they were fun. The couple of clients my one client went to the Flower Mart on Saturday in downtown LA, and I love plants and flowers. But she had to buy a whole bunch of new plants and flowers for her house and her yard. And she's like, "Well, James, you're the perfect person to go with me, obviously." And I had the best time. That was 3 hours. I could stay there all day long. I love flowers and plants, and we're picking certain ones. I was educating on which ones are good for which parts of the yard, and that's part of what I do. And so I'm like, that's a fun client, and I could do that. I had another client. We were organizing her pantry in her little condo. I know, but it was fun. I like pantries. I like pantries and cabinets. I like that. And she's fun because we're around the same age, and she's fun, and she likes to, and she's open. And she has her ways. Everybody has their ways.
Everybody does.
And when she gets in her little mode, I just laugh. I laugh. The funniest, okay, here's the funny. I'm allowed to tell you. This story is hilarious. It's a little quick story. So we ran out of bins. We were organizing. We were putting bins in the closet, which was really nice. We ran out of. We were missing one. So he goes, "Oh, I'll go buy one, blah, blah." It's okay, right? So in the meantime, I go, "Why don't you grab one of your Tupperware? We'll put your stuff in there." And she stops. She's like, "James, I don't do Tupperware anymore. I do Pyrex." I almost peed on myself.
Well, I'm with your client. I have changed over to and I love Pyrex. Love it. I have changed over to glass. There's no more plastic in my kitchen. Now, I don't know. I can't be funny about it, but I just literally have cabinet full of all different size Pyrex with the snap close tops.
No, I know. The thing is, it was the way she said it. She was like, "I don't do Tupperware anymore. I do Pyrex." I said, "Oh, you're ritzy titsy." I said, "Okay." I said, "They grab one of your Pyrex." We started laughing. But no, and I love. No, trust me. I have a Pyrex measuring cup and a regular glass measuring cup. That Pyrex is way better. I mean, it's like the glass is sturdier. That is just. I mean, it's just. I almost peed on myself. I was just laughing the way she said it. It was kind of like. Nobody's having a laugh with it. It was a little fun. So again, but I'm having fun with her, and it's work, and I got paid, and life. And I just do up down the street, and it was good. Yeah. So I'm learning and this month has been a big learning curve for me. Like that was the right decision because there's a little scaredness of like you. Sure. That's what you came home. You're home working from home.
Yes.
You had a big adjustment too, right?
Yes, it's a big adjustment, but I also made one of those adjustments in my business. Yeah, because, the idea of volume, people think that volume brings a lot of money and it can bring in a lot of money.
You're right.
However, you have to service volume. That means that you have to bring on employees if you're going to grow your business. And you're an organizer, not necessarily a people manager. I'm an insurance broker, not necessarily a people manager. So we start taking on these roles in our business that, frankly, either we do not want them,
right,
and we're not really qualified to do them. Like no one would hire me to come manage their people.
Right.
So when I thought about the type of client that I wanted to engage with on a day-to-day basis, like if somebody called me and had a claim, what kind of scenario did I want to be involved in?
Okay.
Because, and if they're talking to me about their business insurance or their personal insurance, what type of person did I want on the other end of the phone? And so once I started dialing in on that, I gave up so much. But James, I live a happy business day. And I'm engaged with the types of folks that I really want to service. I want to be a part of their risk management team. I want to help them protect their stuff. And a lot of these folks, we start off having a conversation. It's not just, what can you do for me today? Or, oh, I bought it. It's like, how are you doing? How's the kids? How's this part? So that's what I wanted in my life. I wanted to know the people that I was serving. And I've really come a long way. Now I could be making more money, but I'd have to be also paying out more money, right? For more people to help me service it and have no control really of that conversation. So it's a give and take. And I get it. People want to jump into business. They want to blow it up and they want to be really rich. Well, I want to jump into business. I want to blow it up, but I want it scaled.
That's me.
So it's reflective of my visions, the types of folks that we want to be serving. And I had to adjust to being okay with that.
I'm telling you, Melissa, the money will come. That's what I'm finding out. The amount of money that I need somehow make it to my desk. So I mean, like it's, we got a grant for one of my shows. So I'm like, so the money will come. So there's most things like you have to, I agree with you. You have to, when you scale back, you get a little scared. You're like, okay, because I know if I did, because when I was working with 10 clients, I was been high on the hog and money was coming in, but I wasn't happy. I was tired. And like you said, you're paying out more. So in the long run, you're paying out more than you're bringing in anyway. So now if you scale it down, it's less expenses going out and the percentage will change. The money will, they'll start to change where it starts to be comparable. And I'm learning that lesson this last month. I was like, well, now I'm gonna do my end of month stuff, and I do my numbers today. And I'm at my first glance, I'm going, oh, I did really good for this new change for a first month. And I'm like, it goes back to the self-worth. I'm worth raising my rates. I'm worth trying this out. I'm worth starting a subscription service. And people are telling me, James, we see how hard you work for us fans. We pay $5.99 for Hulu, and so why can't we pay $5 for James Ledger? Why can't we buy him a coffee or 2 coffees or for $10? Like I'm seeing their response to me because I'm always like asking money. I sent out email blasts. I do all this stuff, and I'm always scared. And then I wake up and I go, oh, someone sent me 5 coffees. I'm like, it's great. But they'll tell me because we know you work hard. We know that you're giving us quality product. We know that you're here for us. It's not just like you're just asking for money to give us just to take, but it's like you actually are giving us something back that brings me enjoyment because I do entertainment. So a lot of people tell me I enjoy the hour of watching your show. It's hilarious. So I'm glad you do the Boba Fett after show for a start. I'm gonna do the She-Hulk after show. I'm so glad you're doing the She-Hulk after show. I'm gonna watch it too, and I get to watch it with you guys. And you and your co-hosts are hilarious. And like, I'll buy a T-shirt because I love the logo and it supports you. And so I'm like, I'm learning. That was a big lesson this last month. I learned is that people are seeing value in what it goes back to self-esteem. It goes back to self-esteem. It all goes back to self-esteem and self-worth. But you're like thinking, is my shit okay? Like, should people buy my stuff? And they're telling me yes. And not everybody's doing it, but like the ones who do it are giving me really great feeling. I go, no, we love your work. You've been doing it for 7 years. We love what you do. We have no problem doing that. I have a little bit. I always say, well, everybody's money. I know it's crazy these days, and whatever. But it's been very interesting. I put myself out on a limb in a way that I usually don't do. Because I'm always a giver. I'm not usually a taker. So I'm trying to find the balance of both. That I'm not just taking, but I'm giving you something for what I'm taking.
There's an exchange.
Yes. So that's been an eye-opening thing for me. And seeing which ones are giving, which ones aren't, who's getting the message, who isn't. Is my marketing that good? Is it not? I'm learning. It's been, like I said, so July has been a very just for my business, a very interesting month.
Mhm.
I'm seeing trends. I'm seeing, all that stuff, which I don't mind doing. It reminds me of my retail days. The good part of my retail days, not being on the floor selling jeans. Screw those.
Yeah.
You're
I
a size
was
14. What?
I was on the floor selling sweats.
Yeah, you know how it is. I was selling Levi's. So,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So, I mean, I don't miss that
We
part.
have so many similarities in our life.
We do, but
and yet we're so dissimilar, but we have walked similar paths and made similar choices.
But also, I think it's our age group. There's a lot of us like this.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Well, remember working retail was the job.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we were, late teens, early 20s. That's what people, that's what we did to make money was,
I told people, you understand, even when you're going to college, a food service job or a retail job was ideal. That was the point.
Yes.
It works around your schedule.
Yeah.
We all did it. That was the word. That was where to go.
Yeah.
We job at the mall.
The mall.
We all had jobs at the mall. I mean, anybody our age group, I think, has had a job. I mean, I've talked to so many people on the podcast I do for insurance. A lot of them were like, "Yeah, I did retail. I was in high school. I worked at Chess King, or I worked at Express, or I worked at we all had jobs." Mills Outpost, just like,
oh my god, yeah,
those girl, like at the Sherman Oaks Galleria. Oh my god,
yeah.
And then they were all saying, I worked at KFC or McDonald's. Like everybody had at least one or two retail or food service jobs, or also waiter. And they'll make jokes about that in Hollywood, but that is really something that it worked with the schedule that we at our age group were trying to accomplish. I think.
Right.
So, yeah, but that's why you and I think we have a lot because we do
because we grew up in this. We grew up together, basically.
And I think if we were in high school together, we weren't friends. I would have been friends with you.
Oh God, totally. Yeah.
Easily. And as I said, but it's just that SoCal. We have that. You and I are SoCal kids. I mean, I am. I'm a total SoCal kid. I am.
Yeah, born and raised. I don't know any better. Don't hold it against me, folks. I just don't know any better.
I've lived other places, but I'm essentially a Southern California. I just am, and I don't care. I am what I am.
I am what I am. Yeah.
But yeah. So go all the way back to your beginning. To answer your question, how was my weekend? It was a mixed bag of tricks, but I think as I wake up today on August 1st, it's all lessons.
Good. Yeah.
And I'm James.
And I'm Melissa.
And this is Coffee and Conversation with James Melissa. This is Conversation 37. We're moving right along, kids. It's 37. Go ahead. And I saw, as I was coming on this morning, I saw someone comment in our video that's out today, Conversation 36. I haven't read the comment yet, but I saw there's 2 comments. So who knows what they're saying to us. But that's what you can do. You can actually comment. I will tell Melissa I'll tell her what people are saying. I'll read them. But yes, you can see us on YouTube, which is my network, JLJ Media, or on all the social media audio platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Apple. Look for Coffee and Conversation with James Melissa, the whole title, and we're there. We're there for you. So grab your coffee, have some conversation. We'll see you next time.